Okay, so in this video now we're going to look at setting up an invoice for a customer. So we'll click into the invoices section. Now we already have an invoice here for a customer. If we want to add a new invoice, we simply select new from the menu. You pick your customer from the list, so you would have entered in your customers already, and then you'll continue on through there. Now for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the sample invoice that we've already got set up. So I'll go into this one, and we can see in our list view we have the date of the invoice, the status of it, customer's name, and we can see this one is open. So we'll go in here. Now this is what you'll get presented with for a new invoice. So you simply enter in standard information, purchase order number, payment type, shipping method, terms, etc., etc., invoice date and payment date. Now this is what sets whether or not the invoice status is open or not. So we can see here at the moment this is open, and we don't have anything set into the payment date. So if I was to click on the payment date here and add in the date, we can see this is now turned to paid. So as this is a cash on delivery invoice, we would assume that this has been paid because the customer would be paying it at the time. If not, then you can just leave this blank. We just hit delete to take that back out. That would leave it open, and in your list view you could then sort and filter to see which invoices you actually have open and outstanding. I'm going to leave this one as paid. Okay, the rest of the information we'll put through, we'll put a message and some comments. These will appear on your invoice, and we've got the sold to and shipped to address. This is pulled through from your customer that you've already set up in the customers area. Now we need to add an item to our invoice, so we simply click on add an item. We get our list view for our pieces, and I'm going to select one of our green clay pairs. We can see we've got two in stock here at the moment, so if I just pick one, okay, I'll enter one, and we'll select a price for this. So we select from the wholesale, direct, suggested or Etsy. We'll put in a discount, and discounts are entered as a decimal, so 10% will be 0.1, which gives us the discount, and you can actually put in a discount in percent. So if I just delete that, or you could actually put in a discount as a dollar amount if you want to put in $5, for example, or any dollar amount. Whichever you like to do, you can do. That'll give you the total, and then we've got the costings across there. Before we just get to the costings, I just want to show you that in terms of the inventory, now that this has actually been added to an invoice, then our clay pair, we've put one on the invoice, and we saw at the list view when we added it, we actually did have two in stock. So we can see here there's one left now because we've added one to an invoice. If we change this and make this two, to have a little look back, we can see our quantity in stock, we now have 0. So there's none left in stock now. So every time you add an item to an invoice, it will actually come out of stock. Okay, and for the costing, so the tax rate, that gets pulled through from our customer that we set up already. Again, this is overrideable, so you can click in here, type in what you like. You can add a shipping amount, you can apply the tax to the shipping. We've got our totals down here now for the total amount of items on the invoice, so in this case we just have one. Our total dollar amount, the discounts, the shipping, the tax that's applied, which gives us our grand total. So our grand total amount for this invoice, $28.37. If we go into the dimensions, weights and volumes area, now we can see in here, this is the information that's pulled through from the parts to the pieces. So when we've created the piece, if we've actually put in dimensions, weights or volumes for the parts that have been used to create that piece, this is where this all starts to come through. So we can see here that the clay pair actually weighs 0.5 kilos, and it's actually half a litre in size. So this has actually been pulled through. If we look at the weights tab, so we can see we've got two here, the weight. So the clay pair, there's no conversion on that. Weight is half a kilo. And in the volumes, the clay pair, it's actually got the volume of the piece is put in as 1.06 pints. So if we were to actually look at this piece, we will see, and we can pop to that in a second, that the volume is 1.6 pints. So the piece is converted here to an imperial volume, which gives us our 0.5 litres. So that's the way that this information gets pulled through, and then you can use that for your postage if you need to work out postage for shipping and handling. Okay, we'll just go back to the invoice. So we're basically done with that now. All we really need to do is click print. Okay, we can see here's our invoice. We can do a quick preview of it. We've got a print preview. All we need to do to print that now is to click continue. Okay, and it will ask you if you want to print the invoice. If you choose no, it's going to give you some more options. I'm actually going to say no here, so I can show you what the other options are. So now you actually get the option to print some shipping labels, so you can either print shipping labels for the customer address or their shipping address. I'm going to say no to that because I don't want to print those at the moment. And what you can actually do as well is print a PDF of the catalogue of the invoice items. So if you want to give your customer, if you've sold them a lot of items, you can actually print a PDF catalogue of all the items that are on the invoice as well, and you can present that to them with the invoice. So that's how you create an invoice, that's how you print some labels and add an item to the invoice, and then you also have the option to create a catalogue for the customer at the end as well, and also making sure that your inventory is kept up to date, so every time you actually sell an item it will get taken out of your inventory.